What's going on, YouTube? This is LA Prepper, and we're going to do a quick live stream because because I'm procrastinating working on my bug out boat and any other errands I have for today, like washing and vacuuming my car, which is always fun since I don't have a vacuum at the house and I don't have access to at least I don't have official access to a spigot. We have water in the front of our place, but we don't have a hose. And I feel like I have to get permission to use the hose, even though I could fill up a bucket in my apartment and take it outside. But my car is so dirty that gotta have the. I just gotta walk. I mean, even if excuse me, even if all I did was just take a hose and rinse it off, it'd be a lot better than trying to spread the dirt around with a brush. Wish I had like a backpack weed sprayer. My dad used to have a backpack weed sprayer, and we go around spraying the weeds. And I think it'd be pretty decent for washing the car, but. I digress. What is new in the world of prepping? You know, I should hook up my second screen right now. I don't really feel like it, to be honest, especially because it puts out a bit of heat. And it's speaking of heat, what's the weather like today in my fair city? It'll be a beautiful day here. 81 degrees. Well, tomorrow. Do I want to choose the privacy settings that are right for me? Not really. I swear, everything is a message these days. Everybody's got to send you a message. I tried to restart. I swear I tried to like do something the other day and it was like, are you sure you want to do this? I think I was trying to restart my phone and said, are you sure you want to restart your phone? Yes, I'm sure I want to restart my phone. I swear. I swear. Well, I lost somebody. Or not. Maybe I didn't lose them. Let's take a look at Reddit and see what is new in the... Oh, that didn't work. Reddit has a pretty active prepping community. There's a few different subs. There's prepping, there's survivalism, or survival, sorry. Always some interesting conversations going on. Oh, my water is not very OPSEC right now. I should fix that. Man, I gotta get some tape. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm back. I don't know if Saturday morning is going to be very busy on the live stream. We'll give it a few minutes here, and if I don't get anyone, we'll consider it a lost cause. I have not been uploading videos as of late. In fact, one of my next goals in the prepping world is to make a fire with a bow drill. Oh, what's going on, James? The only problem is I have to find somewhere where I can legally make a fire. It's not a pain in the butt. My local park has some barbecue pits, but I guess I could try to do a bow drill standing up over the barbecue grill. That's not the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but anyways. There, now I have OPSEC water. Good morning, Yoran. Good morning, or should I say, let's give you a little taste of home real quick. As I butcher your language, let's see. All right, we're going to translate this to Swedish. God morgen min borta vän. I wonder if it's vain.
God morgon min borta vän.
Good morgen min borta vän. Yeah, that's not too bad. Good evening. Oh my gosh, hold on. You're right, I forgot.
min borta vän.
Mitt misstag. Good kval min bortavan. Man, Swedish is just one of those languages. It's like, it's actually really interesting. I wonder what the roots of Swedish language. Indo-European language belonging to the North Germanic branch of the Germanic languages. In its established classification, it belongs to the East Scandinavian languages together with Danish, separating it from the West Scandinavian languages consisting of Faroese, Icelandic, and Norwegian. Learn something new every day. You know, I want to learn a few different languages. I have to admit Swedish isn't on there, but I wonder if it's even worth my time, because I think ultimately we'll just be able I don't know if you guys are familiar with the movie or the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but there's this thing called a babble fish where they put the fish in your ear and the fish translates. Well, they sort of have that now. In fact, let me look it up. Babble fish device. So, for example, here's a device that so I guess the point is, I think ultimately we're just going to be able to wear a device around our neck, and somebody will speak to me in Swedish, and it'll translate in English, and I'll speak in English, and it'll, if they have the device too, I guess it'll translate in. Although ultimately it'll probably just be like an app. You just start the app, and if you have a smartphone and I have a smartphone and we both have earpieces in, I'll speak, and it'll translate and go right to you, and you'll speak and it'll translate and go right to me, which will be pretty cool to be able to travel anywhere in the world and be able to like converse with people. And even if it doesn't, like, even if it translates to me via audio and then I have to repeat it, that's still not too bad for short phrases. But yeah, it would be much easier. I'm planning a trip in October. When I say planning, I mean, you know, I haven't done anything other than planned it, but hopefully I'll be able to get over to Germany for Oktoberfest, maybe play around in a few other countries. I haven't quite decided yet. I don't know what my budget would be. I don't know how much time I'm going to have, but so Jorn, if there's any chance you can take a couple days off, if you feel like hanging out in Germany during Oktoberfest, maybe we can meet up. I know it's a bit of a flight, but you know, for what it's worth. Have you ever been to Oktoberfest, Jorn? I never have. Never even been to Europe. Kind of sad, but anyways. Nothing real particular I'm looking to talk about today, just kind of a short speaking of which, I guess I have to do the super fun task of remembering how to update my live stream with a description and info and blah blah blah. All right. Oh, search engine optimization is so much fun. Documents, videos, personal. My prepping tags up here. We'll go ahead and this. And let's go ahead and turn on the slow chat to 10 seconds. Just in case this stream, holy crap, this gets popular. Oh, cool, James. Denmark and Norway, okay. Yeah, I know theoretically I can. Oh, what's up, JD? I saw a description. I don't know if I can add like the tags before I start the live stream, but whatever. It's not a big difference to me if I do it before the live stream or 5 seconds or 10 minutes in this case into the live stream. But yeah, probably going to be working on the bug out boat today. I have a bunch of little annoying things I got to do to it. I got to change the foot pedals. I got to remount the frame. I was even having second thoughts about my rear buoyancy. The problem, I have some torsional problems that I'm worried about. The frame, the if the boat's like this, the rear seat kind of sticks up like this. So I'm worried about the seat rotating like that. And oh yeah, the phone app is probably different. I can't. Technically, I can stream from my phone, but it just uses a lot of data and it kind of heats. In fact, a few times I've live streamed from my phone. My phone is so hot. One time, like the screen got all funny, and I thought I like broke the screen on my phone. So I'm not gonna try that anymore. But yeah, I hate. I'll be perfectly honest. Aside from making phone calls and using navigation and streaming music, aside from those three things, I hate using my phone. I just hate it. I don't hate technology, but I hate trying to do it in a screen this big and a keyboard that big. It's like the most aggravating thing in the world to me. Yorin, we gotta. I don't mean to be a jerk about it, but we gotta work on your finances, buddy. Keep talking about being short on cash, man. We gotta get you like a better paying job or something. Is the economy in Sweden rough right now? Are you only working part time or full time, or we gotta help you out, Yorin. I don't know how we're gonna help you out, but we gotta help you get some work. And you don't feel obligated to like share what's going on. It's none of my business really, but that's it, for what it's worth. I could look at your resume. I don't know what good that'll do, but I've actually, and I think I may have mentioned this before, but as far as finding work, I have a little more experience than I would like. um, Finding work, applying to work. In fact, my current position, the bug out boat is kind of ironically related to my current position because I think they looked at it during my application. I put it as a link to my application. I was like, look at the stuff that I did. Yay, it's so interesting. Meanwhile, I don't think I've updated the blog on that site and God, I don't even know how long. In fact, I was trying to show someone a picture at work the other day and oh my God, Spectrum, go to hell. I already made a payment, you bastards. Yeah, I was trying to show someone a post and like the website looked like shit on my cell phone. I was really upset. And not only that, I couldn't figure out, like, I think it was trying to give it to my phone in mobile view instead of normal view, but I couldn't figure out how to go back to like normal desktop view. Usually when you're browsing a website on your phone, you have an option to go to like the normal computer view and not the mobile view. This is why I hate technology. Everything is such a goddamn headache. Like if I wanted, it should let me choose if I want the mobile view. Otherwise, just give me the normal goddamn view. Because the mobile view is fucked. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but the mobile version of a website is usually complete dog shit. It's supposed to be easier to use, but I find it to be an incredible pain in the ass, personally. Aggravates the living Jesus out of me. God, just like this boat. This boat is really turning into such a debacle. Like ideally it would be kind of a fun thing, but considering it takes me like an hour to put in my car, kind of like like 45 minutes to drive down there, an hour to set up. So it's like if I want to play in the water for 3 hours, or let's say I want to play in the water for 6 hours, it's going to take me 6 hours just to set it up, get it all in my car. And then when I come back, I have all this crap that's covered in sand from getting it on the beach. So it's like when I used to go windsurfing down in San Diego, there was a place where I could launch where there was grass like 15 feet, 20 feet, whatever from the water. So I could get my board, rinse all the sand off, carry it to the grass, and then dry it. And then I wouldn't have a board covered in sand. But at Cabrillo Beach, if I go, I can technically launch from the boat ramp. The only problem is I don't have a boat trailer. So unless, and of course the boat, you know, I mean, I don't know. I guess I could sort of like put it on top of my fucking car or something crazy like that. But I can't lift the whole thing when it's all in one piece. So it's like, you know what would actually work, which is really freaking retarded. But if I somehow jury rigged so that I made the boat itself a trailer, that would technically work. Oh, I'm like $400 into this damn boat. I just want to sell it, to be honest. If I live near the water, it might be different, but trying to have a boat in an apartment is just stupid. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just crazy. It just frustrates me. Sec. Okay, how many sec? Uh, sec. Sec $2. I guess sec. Oh, sec is shorthand for Swedish krona. Okay. 850 sec a month is yeah, that's not enough to live on, brother. Not even remotely. Yes, I know looking for work sucks, believe me. Hi, Billy. Um, what kind of work are you looking for, James? If you don't mind me asking. Oh, James, what the? Come on, man. What's wrong with your boat? What's wrong with your boat, James? What's going on? You got a motorboat? You know you got to run that motor. If the motor hasn't run in 2 years, oh, you're killing me. Is it like a fishing boat, a ski boat, a jet boat? Oh, I want a jet boat so bad. They're so awesome. They sound so amazing. They're not really great for wakeboarding. Someday I'm going to have a wakeboarding boat. Someday. Maybe I'll be 50 or, at this rate, I'll probably be 45, 50 years old before I get one. But manufacturing or labor jobs. Well, I can't, I don't really like to share a lot of personal information, but the company that I work for is hiring very aggressively, James. So, tell you what, I mean, if you want to move to California, I can't say I could get you a job, but the company is hiring so aggressively that if you have any type of manufacturing experience, there's a chance they'll hire you for a job. So if you want to send me an email, James, at laprepping@gmail.com, I will send you a link to their careers page. And they have, I think, in fact, let me check right now how many careers they have. How many jobs they have, rather. Because they're hiring like nobody's business. Okay. The problem is I can't. All right, I had the same problem last time. Let's see here. We're going to copy everything and we're going to paste it into Excel and then we're going to count like that. But James, yeah, for what it's worth, just apply. I would apply to the biggest companies because the biggest companies, sorry, not just the biggest companies, but companies that are growing. Companies that are growing, you tend to have a better chance if you don't have like a perfect resume. Not to say your resume isn't perfect, but you just have a better chance when the company is growing because, like, to some extent, if they find someone who's a decent match with a heartbeat, they just go for it. So um, that's my thoughts on that. Let's see here. Oh my God, what is this garbage? Ah, Jesus. I don't know what. Oh Lord. There's this really frustrating menu, which I can't seem to get rid of. I've managed to copy and paste a menu into my spreadsheet, which is, oh, go to hell. All right, let's try this again. Oh, Jesus, this is really aggravating. I hope you appreciate this aggravation that I'm going through right now, James. Oh my gosh, this is not working very well at all. In fact, this is working quite terribly, but let's see here. So anyways, I think they have several hundred jobs open. Let's just leave it at that. I can't deal with this frustration right now. But yeah, several hundred jobs open. Oh, what's up, Hiking Deep? So anyways, yeah, I will send you a link to the careers page, and you can search. Okay, 1983 Sears Game Fisher 16 just for fishing. Yeah, come on, James. You got to start that engine at least a couple times a year, brother. You know that. Especially if you've been in the saltwater. If you've been in the freshwater, it's not so bad. But you should take it out. I mean, why not, right? I mean, I understand. It takes money to get it going, and it might be a headache. Like you might be thinking, well, I don't want to open this can of worms right now, but you know, and you might be, I don't know if it's fuel injected or carbureted. 1983, I'm going to guess carbureted, although it could be fuel injected. Boat motors tend to be 5 horsepower. 5 horsepower doesn't sound right. 50 horsepower? 5 horsepower is like nothing. I mean, that's like a little mini outboard like power. Unless you just kind of use it for driving really, motoring around really slowly. I'm not trying to talk crap about your engine. I'm just saying. Should start it up, man. Start it up and go have fun. If I had a boat, I'd be out like once a month at least. At least that's what I keep telling myself. I mean, you got to like move it too. The rubber, if the tires are low and they've been like, you know how it is, dude. You're a grown man. I don't need to tell you this stuff, but don't let your boat go to waste. Use it for me. Just take it out on a fishing trip for me, huh? If you were within an hour or two of me, I'd be like, all right, we're gonna get this motor going this weekend. Maybe I don't need a boat. Maybe I just need a friend that has a boat. Cool, Jorn. Are you looking for work, Jorn, or not? If you don't mind me asking. Yeah. Oh. Fair enough. Yeah. Well, my bug out boat is not. I don't know. I could put several hundred pounds of material preps on my boat, I suppose, but I don't work. I don't have the ability to hire someone. I'm just a lowly temp employee. LinkedIn. Yeah, I didn't have much luck with LinkedIn, to be honest. I will say that I almost got an interview through a temp company. I would highly recommend checking out a temp company. They'll work for you. They only get paid if you find work. So whatever, in fact, let's find temp companies in Sweden. I don't know if Robert Half is in Sweden. 10 best employment agencies in Stockholm. Here we go. We have Hammer and Hanborg, Stockholm Headhunting, Manpower Professional, Work and Study Abroad, Wise Professionals, Hayes Specialist Recruitment, Definite Headhunting Sweden, Arbetsformedlingen, that's a mouthful, Recruitment Stockholm, and Academic Work. Here you go, Jorn. This is just for you. So your homework, Jorn, if you want to find work, is get your resume together, call every one of these companies and say, I'm looking for work. I don't care what it is. I'll do anything, and send them a resume, and just try. Because the thing is, like, when you're I don't know how long you've been out of work, but if you haven't been working for a few months, um, sometimes employers like to see that you're active and that you're doing stuff or whatever. So even if you can get like a month or two of work from a temp company, it shows like, okay, he's looking for work, he's trying to do stuff. Um, and a lot of times, if they like you, they'll convert you. They have to buy you out. They can't just you can't just go full time. They have to pay like a buyout fee to the temp company. But the key in life, okay? I'm gonna give you all the secret to life. You can't do everything yourself, right? You have to get help. And especially when it comes to getting a job, if all you're doing is working by yourself to get a job, that's very, very hard. But if you can let's say hypothetically you get connected with 10 employment agencies, that means that 24 hours a day, um, they're working for you. Every time they have a job come up, they're thinking about you, they're looking at your resume. Sometimes companies need somebody so bad, they don't even care if you don't have experience, you know? Daily employment, interesting. So, like, you kind of get employed, like, maybe on an as-day basis, okay. Like, they hire you by day, like, they may or may not need you tomorrow, maybe? Interesting. But, that's my advice. Companies work with staffing agencies because they wanna expand their network, right? The same reason that an employee, a potential job seeker, could work with a staffing agency is the same reason employers work with staffing agencies, because they wanna leverage their efforts, so to speak. I'm even gonna type this word, leverage your efforts. This is the key to life. You have to leverage your efforts. You can't be doing everything by yourself. Just like prepping. I could try to figure out what kind of knife I want, or I could put a video out and say, "Hey, what's some information on knives?" And then one of my wonderful subs, like JD, um, yeah, thanks, Hiking Deep. One of my subs, JD, wrote me like a 2-page email about this knife and this knife and this knife, and all this stuff. So it's like it would have taken me several hours, if not a couple days, to figure out all that stuff. Physical or mental issues. Well, look, we all have challenges in life, and I don't, you know, the bottom line is, Yoren, there's a job for you out there. There's a better paying job for you out there. And, I don't know, like, what the deal is with, like, Swedish hiring practices, but American hiring practices, they can't discriminate you. Not only can they not, oh, geez, that sounds a little bit rough, but, you got to do what you can. I mean, I have faith there's a job out there for you, Yoren. You know, and to think about it this way, not to oversimplify what you got going on as regards to stress, but if you're gonna have stress issues either way, or sometimes stress comes up, you may as well be making money, you know. So maybe you just need to find a lower stress job, or a job that's like understanding about what's you got going on with you. I mean, you never know. You might find a manager at some job who has anxiety issues of their own and might be really sensitive to what you have going on. So don't close off that door before you even walked through it, right? You don't necessarily have to tell everyone that you got stress stuff. I mean, look, it's kind of a personal thing, and I don't mean to speak disrespectfully about it, but just do what you can. Just try. Even if the job, even if you don't think you're going to do as well as you might like, you got to try in life. You got to keep always pushing ahead, challenging yourself, pushing yourself. Plus, I guess you might get nationalized. I don't know if you have nationalized healthcare over there, but well, I know you're looking for a job, but who's looking a job for you? Who's looking for a job for you, Yoren? Nobody, right? if nobody's looking for a job for you, then unless this is the reason you got to get like passive income in your life, and I don't have passive income, but I'm working on it. If the money you make is only from spinning the hamster wheel, then unless you're spinning the hamster wheel, you're not making any money. So by connecting with these temp agencies, they'll work for you for free. They don't charge you anything. How many people are willing to work for you to make your life better for free? Think about that. I'm willing to work for free for you, Yoren, but I only have so many hours of the day. I could spend 10, 20 minutes a day trying to help you out, but I can't spend hours and hours and hours. If a job comes up for me in California, that doesn't really help you out, but mm, I'll leave it at that, Yoren. I don't mean to keep picking on your employment status, but that's my advice. My advice is get more people on your team. Life is a game, and the more people on your team, the more qualified people on your team, the better you do. 11,350. Okay, let's see here. Damn it. Okay, that's a little more reasonable. $1,300 a month. That's enough to pay rent and a little bit of food and expenses. But anyways, no more picking on Yorn. So, James, if you're overqualified, you need to dumb down your resume. And Lancaster, last time I checked, was in California. So I'm going to give you a top secret trick. In California, the employment background check doesn't go back more than 7 years. So if you've been working for 20 years, just cut 10 years off your resume. They're never going to know. I mean, obviously, they might look at you and say, oh, this guy's 40 or 50 years old or 30 years old or however old you are. But yeah, that's not terrible for rent. But that's my advice, James, is unless you've been working at the same place for like 20 years, then that's kind of rough. But just cut off a few years of your job experience. I mean, the bottom line is if you have skills and you speak English, James, you know, labor ready might not be the best place for you to work for a job, find a job. In fact, Lancaster is really close to Palmdale. There's a lot of defense contractors in Palmdale. If you're pretty good on, and you don't have to comment on this, but if you have a pretty decent criminal record, I would be looking at like Lockheed and Northrop Grumman, and there's a lot of defense contractors in Palmdale that would love someone with your diverse skill set. And yeah, shoot me that email, and I will send you the link of the employer that I'm thinking of that I presently work for. And they like U.S. citizens with hands-on skills. And I know we have several employees who have moved from out of the area. I know we have several employees that have moved from out of the area. So, I mean, you're in California, you're not even that far away in Lancaster. So you could easily drive down for an interview. And they're hiring people every single week. In fact, I was just yesterday at a company appreciation event. I was just speaking to our trainer, and he said every week they're hiring a new group of people. Our company does a lot of production, which will become apparent to you when I share the link with you. And if you want, send me a copy of your resume in your email too. In fact, are you open to moving, James, or not? Because if you're open to moving, I'll send you. In fact, here, let me find the link. The company that almost got me the interview, the staffing company, they're called Aerotech, and they're pretty decent. In fact, I don't know if they have an Aerotech in Lancaster, but I would highly, highly recommend checking them out because they are Northridge. They have an Aerotech in Northridge. But let's do a quick search right here. Palm, Lancaster. 3 opportunities. Avionic tech, avionics, electronic technician. You could work on UAVs. That's cool. Yeah, Edwards Air Force Base. If you think you can get a security clearance, there is a job for you, brother. There's no reason that an intelligent, capable American citizen shouldn't be able to get a job. California is growing. We are growing, and defense and tech companies are growing too. Okay. All right then, James. Yeah, send me a copy of your resume just to give me an idea of what kind of work you've done. It'll help me kind of focus on. And like I said, I'm really new at my company, but for what it's worth, if I, for what it's worth, I would put in a good word to the manager for you. I don't know if it's worth anything, but since I've been at my company for like 2 weeks right now, but yeah, just to give me an idea. So check out Aerotech. Check out the link that I'm going to send you to the company. Also check out let's see who's in Lancaster. Or let's try defense contractors in Palmdale. I know for a fact there's a lot because Edwards Air Force Base is out there. In fact, if you're not on usajobs.gov, you need to check out usajobs.gov. Now, I will say the response time on usajobs.gov is pretty god awful. It took like a month or so for like most of those people to get back to me. But let's see here. Okay, this is a list of defense contractors in Palmdale. What I would recommend is checking out all of their websites and seeing if they're hiring. Well, those are the big guys, right? So Lockheed, Northrop, Boeing, those are the big guys. But all the big guys have all these little guys that that like make little custom things for them. It's kind of like trickle down effect. And the nice thing about corporate websites too is there's a couple things. One, once you apply to one job, it can be really easy to apply to other jobs because all your information's in the system. So all that previous job, your other jobs, your references, your contact info, once all that's in the system, then you can click on another job after you've already signed in and hit apply, apply, apply. And it's usually like a few clicks to apply. So same with USA Jobs. USAjobs.gov is really, really easy to apply to multiple positions. Jobs.gov. Let's go ahead and send you that link. And like I said, they love US citizens. If you smoke pot, New Hampshire, Alaska, Cali, and Oregon, the West Coast. I wouldn't recommend smoking things when you're looking for a job. Not so much because of the drug check, but just because it kind of like fucks with your head. I think it's better to be clear-headed because I wouldn't recommend using any substance while you're looking for a job because it's already stressful enough when you're sober. Just my 2 cents, anyways. Yeah, the labor ready stuff is kind of hard. You could try CLP, contractors labor is cool. In fact, let me give you that website too. No, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I don't know if they're still in existence. But here is another temp agency that does a lot of stuff. Apple One. Um, so I've gotten work through Apple One before. They're pretty decent. Oh, traffic viol. You were arrested? Well, I'm not going to ask, but if it was over 7 years ago, it will not show up in the it won't show up in the background check. And further, if you haven't already filed to get it expunged or reduced, you should contact your public defender's office about that. Like, they can either get it sealed or not sealed, but expunged or set aside or reduced from a felony to a misdemeanor or whatever. So if you haven't done that, I would highly recommend doing that too. Colorado's probably a decent state. I would think. I mean, they can still check if they want to, but considering they're kind of more friendly with smokers, probably is decent. Oh yeah, that's not even going to show up, James. Like I said, anything over 7 years is not going to show up. So when they ask you, have you ever been convicted of anything? No. The answer is no. It's not going to show up. So there's no reason to say yes. You're only shooting yourself in the foot. So there's a free tip for you. As far as you're concerned, never happened. As far as California is concerned, never happened. The caveat to that is certain licenses and restrictions. So, um, like if you're trying to get a real estate license, if you're trying to join the military, things like that, even if it was a long time ago, you still like you don't want to lie to the government about that. And they typically, I think, can do like more comprehensive checks. But just your average run of the mill employer, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Hmm. So I guess this is the excuse me, the job finding mega thread. But excuse me. Anyways, so I think I've given Yorin and James enough homework to keep them busy for a few weeks. And if you want, James, send me that email with the resume in the next few minutes, and I'll look it over, and maybe a few more ideas will come to me while we're on the air. Well, I'm never short of ideas. I always have ideas, and I can find something meaningful to put your energy towards that you're not working on. Like I said, I have way too much experience looking for a job. And finding a job, remember this, okay? Top secret tip number 2. They don't hire the most qualified employee. I'll say that again. Companies do not hire the most qualified employee. They hire the person they like the most. And if they like you, it's because you're enthusiastic, you have a good attitude, you're decently qualified, and you're there. You're there for the interview. The whole key to getting a job is to land nailing that interview. And you don't get the interview unless you get a phone call. And you don't get a phone call unless they see your resume. And they don't see your resume unless you send them their resume. and you don't send the resume if you don't know that they're looking for a job. So it's all about the conversion. If you're sending out resumes but not getting phone calls, send out more resumes. If you're getting phone calls but not interviews, you're screwing up the phone call. And if you're getting interviews but not a job, well, you're screwing up the interviews, or they just didn't like you, you know. But that's the thing. You gotta get that conversion. If you're not getting a job, you gotta do each thing. You gotta do more of the process. Yeah, a lot of us are over. In fact, I'm overqualified for my job, but I actually just talked with my manager the other day, and he was saying that he has plans for me. So cross my fingers. But yeah, that's my job seeking advice. You gotta knock on a lot of doors, push really hard, but also work smart. Don't just work hard. Um, you know, and stay busy. You know, don't if you're looking for work, don't be at home all day. That's a nightmare. I don't think humans are designed to be at home all day. Um, get out, volunteer, meet people, talk to people. You never know. You never know. You know, you're volunteering in Lancaster, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a job. I've applied to a few defense contractors, and then your buddy, somebody who you're volunteering with, could be like, oh yeah, I got a buddy at Northrop. He says they're hiring for XYZ. Hey, you want to talk to your buddy, see if you can, you know, it's not going to like guarantee you a job, but if they can make sure that your resume gets looked at, um, no, it's good. It's a good thing, Billy Bird. I appreciate the concern, but it's good. Now I just gotta survive. My only goal at work is to be a perfect employee, to never talk about anything controversial, to never give anyone any attitude. In fact, the first week at work, I was pulling a material for a project I was working on, and I was pulling the wrong material. And one of the coworkers said, "Oh, you don't need that material. You need this material." And I said, "Oh gosh, you know, thanks. I appreciate that. Let me go double check that." And then I double checked, and I came back, and I was like, "You know, of course you were right." And they said, "Oh, you, like," they were sort of like sarcastic, like, "Oh, you think I'm right? Like I've only been doing this for 15 or 20 years." And I was like, "Oh, god damn it!" But the thing is, just because somebody else, like, it wasn't that I didn't believe them, it was just I wanted to be able to confirm myself via the process so that if they're not there, I could repeat it. And so at the end of the day, I went up to the coworker and said, "Look, it's not that I didn't believe you. I wanted to kind of go back and check the process just for my own edification because I didn't want them to think like, oh, like this new employee won't even listen to me and I've been doing this for so long, you know?" So God, people are difficult sometimes, but all right, Mr. McIntyre. In fact, let me go find your YouTube channel real quick just so I can refresh my memory. Oh, your name's hard to spell. I gotta like, there we go, McIntyre. You have very nice. Oh wow, man. You should just be like a professional YouTuber. You got 1,000 subs. It's kind of crazy. Maybe you should just make a video saying I'm looking for a job and like have 1,000 people watch it. You never know. I'm reading your cover letter right now. Okay. All right. So, quick note on the resume. Um, I would skip the I would skip the full address of the employer. Um, maybe I'll just send you mine as like a quick let's see here. Maybe I'll sanitize mine real quick. Your resume format is just a little bit non-standard. Let's see here. So typically you don't need to put the full address in your employment history. They'll ask you for it, but you can always include it like in that section. But they're going to want to see more details of each position. So I would just go the title, the employer, the city, state, and the date. And then I personally like bullet points. You can do paragraphs if you want, but I would definitely recommend God, where did this document go? I would recommend yeah, so for example, you know, title, job title, comma, name of the company, comma, city, state, comma, and then the date. By the way, you're going to want to put the month of the employment. Don't just put like 2010 to 2015. Put April 2010 to March 2015 or whatever. That's a little bit more standard. Um, and as far as like who to contact and what their number is, if they ask for it, fill it out in that field. But the resume isn't really designed to have all the contact information for the employer. It's really designed to highlight what you did at each position. So, um, if and I won't say what jobs you held, but yeah, put a few more details into, because if you, let's say you're like a carpenter, right? And you put, I was a carpenter from this year. What did you do? I did carpentry. Like that's, you know what I mean? You gotta kind of elaborate a little bit. So that's that's a little, maybe I'll send you an email with a few summary points of my thoughts, but that's just a few thoughts off the top of my head. Because reading this resume, I see what your job history is, but I don't see a reason to contact you. I mean, everyone says that they're good at what they do, and it's not that I don't believe it looking at the resume, but um, you have to kind of elaborate on what like specific things you did at each position. Um, just my thoughts, anyways. It's a little more standard too. And the thing about resumes that's kind of stupid is that people judge you based on how much you can get your resume to conform to. Oh, also take off your date of birth for fuck's sake. No, I don't mean to swear, but how old you are is nobody's business. And I don't know about other states, but in California, you cannot discriminate hiring someone based on age. So don't ever tell someone how old you are when they're hiring you. You're not like that old or anything, but don't ever put your date of birth on your resume. That's not going to help you. I don't think, personally, anyways. I would never put my date of birth on my resume. I would also try to avoid like what year you graduated from high school, stuff like that. In fact, take the high school off your education. If you have unless they're asking for it specifically, just I would just leave it off. It's kind of assumed that most people have a high school diploma. Or if you are going to leave it on, don't say what years you went there. My 2 cents on that. Okay. And if you have any type of permits or licenses that require renewal, go ahead and get them renewed. Unless there's something specifically stopping you from getting it renewed. I see here, XYZ permit requires renewal. You should renew that. Absolutely. Unless there's some reason that you can't, but I don't see why you wouldn't want to have that renewed. Um, Personal characteristics. Kind of belongs more in a cover letter. I mean, but I do kind of understand why you separated your related work experience and your non-related work experience, but let's see here. 2008. Honestly, don't know. I don't know if employment history before 2003 is really going to be of great benefit to you. Based on what I'm looking at, yeah, I would kind of I would consider shortening your resume up, and I would start your employment position from 2003 to 2007. I would make that your oldest employment. I would just skip the stuff earlier than that. It's really not a big deal. It's not going to come up in a background check. It's now granted the related work experience. I see that that is part of your related work experience, but I mean, it's kind of up to you. But sometimes having too long of a work history can kind of be going against you. Also, consider that people don't spend a lot of time reading your resume. So the more you can kind of make it succinct, the better chance you have of hooking them. But it looks like for the type of work that you've done, you have some pretty solid experience. So I think uh, if you're looking for that type of related work, um, what's up, Yankees? If you're looking for that type of related work, I think you have a pretty decent chance of finding it based on what I'm seeing. I'm gonna send you. In fact, let me see if I can find a link of something a little more standard. Let's see here. Of course, there's only 1,000,001 examples of resumes online. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sanitize mine. I don't care if you know like where I work, but I'll just hide like the name. In fact, let me just put that as a little homework assignment for myself. I could even perhaps kind of reformat yours and then send it back to you. We'll see what I feel like doing. Resume help to James. I know for a fact that our company does hire people with your specific experience, but to be honest, based on the look of the faces of the people that have done the type of work that you've done, the job is boring. For them specifically, it's like not really. I don't know. The people that we have that have your type of experience that do that type of work, they spend most of their time looking like they're half dead checking their cell phones. It's kind of shameful, to be honest. But I don't say that to reflect badly on the type of work that you do. I'm just saying for whatever reason, the people that we've contracted that we find for that type of work at my company are just like they don't take their job very seriously, and it's kind of sad. But fixing up your resume, that takes a couple hours. That's really not a big deal. You have really good work experience. So I think with just a little bit of tweaking, you're going to be now, of course, your biggest problem is that you've been a little bit pigeonholed into the type of work that you're doing. So if you've been doing X type of work and you want to do Y type of work, the big question is, well, if you've done X for 10, 15, 20 years, why do you want to do Y? So that's the kind of question during an interview that you're going to have to work on. And it depends. If you do want to do the type of work that you've done in the past, you might get to be paid a little bit more. But if you want to do a different type of work, that's going to be a little bit harder sell. Not an impossible sell, but a little harder sell. Jesus was a carpenter. In fact, I remember a few months ago, I was working on a Sunday, and one of my clients was like, "Oh, I hate to have you work on a Sunday." And I said, "You know what? Normally I do like to take, time off, but at the same time, Jesus was a carpenter. So how could you think of a more holy thing to do on a Sunday than do the work that Jesus did, right? Since I do handyman stuff, anyways, my humor for the day. All right, let me catch up in the comments real quick. See you later, Hikin. I think I missed his goodbye. So you are working right now, Njoran. That's good. To answer your question, Yankee, we're currently talking about job stuff, but if you want to talk about any other prepping stuff, you're more than welcome to. I run a very, very casual live stream um because I just do, just the way I do it. I Other people out there have better videos about knives and making fires and prepping and all that. So I don't get too busy into the prepping stuff, mostly because I live stream from my computer and there's only so much prepping related stuff I can do sitting in front of my computer. Does anyone know a good way to store the crystals you pull from wood ash? What kind of crystals are you trying to pull from wood ash? What on earth are you talking about, JD? Yankee, I appreciate the old school mentality of like how to get a job, just like show up at a site and just hope that they'll hire you. I'm not going to say that doesn't work these days, but when I was talking about getting a job a while ago with my dad, he was like, "Oh, you just got to go knock on doors and show up." But I'm like, there's 8 million people in LA and there's probably thousands and thousands of employers. I don't exactly have the time to go driving around LA and just like knocking on people's doors. I'm not going to say it doesn't work, but granted the type of work that you've done, James, in the past, there's probably not an infinite number of companies that do that in Lancaster. So if you haven't door knocked on all the companies that do the type of work that you're doing, after we get your resume tweaked a little bit, I would absolutely do it. Just spend a week and drive. There's probably less than 20 or 30 in Lancaster. Drive to every single one of them. Just give them a resume and say, I don't know if you guys are hiring right now, but I'm looking for work. I'm ready to start working. I'm sober. I'm hardworking. Blah, blah, blah. I got these licenses, these certificates. I'd love to join your team. Just leave it at that. Absolutely worth a day or two driving around. And check in with them every month. Bring them a box of donuts. Maybe not the first time, maybe the second time. Because the first time they're going to think you're buying them off. The second time, the donuts are for like their time and energy. I had one kid show up and just start working. It happens. It does happen. Hot as balls here, huh? Where, in San Diego? What's the weather like in San Diego? No, can't be that hot in San Diego. You must be talking about LA. Yeah, construction work is very hard work. Believe me, I know it. I have done a little bit of construction work myself. Quite the Axeman, huh, Yankee? Well, I mean, yeah, there are a million monkeys with a hammer that call themselves a carpenter. I will never call myself a carpenter. I have done a little bit of carpentry. I can kind of call myself a construction worker, but I'm not a carpenter. I'm barely a handyman. I am a decent furniture assembler, though. I am a professional IKEA furniture assembler for what it's worth. It's not worth very much. Definitely not worth enough to pay the bills. Leaving the cell phone in the car. That's not a terrible plan, except for the fact that if your radio ever goes bad and you want to contact somebody, it's kind of nice to have a cell phone on you. But yeah, I don't do that checking the cell phone at work shit. In fact, during training at my job, they were talking about how to use our cell phone for stuff, and I'm like, so I guess I gotta have my cell phone on me at work. And the trainer was like, "You don't have your cell phone on you all the time? Like, what about your wife? What about your kids, your girlfriend? You have a dog?" And I was like, no comment. I hate cell phones. Like I said, if I'm not making a call, listening to music, or using it for navigation, I don't care. I really don't care. I grew up before cell phones. I'm that old. Yep. I am pre cell phone. Okay. Great answer, James. By the way, that's a great answer as to why you want a different type of work than your last type of work. I know, JD, I do need to practice my bow skills. I just need to find somewhere to do it. There's not really a lot of places within an hour of me where I can make fire that's not in a fire pit or like a barbecue pit, sadly. Pull whose hair? My hair? Why do you want to pull my hair, Billy? I do have very nice hair. It's very thick. And it's not super. I took a shower yesterday, but I could take a shower this morning. Ice crystals to make, oh, lye crystals to make soap. Fascinating, JD. You know, I saw Welder. In fact, I'm gonna grab the ad, JD. I was thinking of you when I saw it. Right here, JD. $100. Little flux core welder from Harbor Freight. Got to jump on that. How could you not want a 125 amp flux core welder? Has the best in class duty cycle, 20% at 90 amps. Comes with a little torch and some flux core feed and a little ground. I think it runs off 120. It really should say whether or not it runs on 120 or 220. Probably 120, little thing like that. But yeah, whenever you're ready to mess around and do some welding, I'm all about bad welding. Got to go get some AA batteries too. In fact, I need to get a caliper so I can work on a few more of my projects at home. I can't call yourself an engineer if you don't have a caliper. $8 million stories in the city. I'm sure there are, and I don't know most of them. So if LA Prepper shows up at your door with a box of donuts. Yeah, so that box of donuts thing, there was actually a guy, I don't know, it was a story a couple years ago, but he went around passing out his resume, but his resume was like taped inside the box of donuts. I don't think he went to like 100 companies or something, but he went to a few companies and he put his resume inside the box of donuts. And I think he ultimately got a job. So yeah, not for nothing. Oh, underground bunker family. Surprised you're getting internet from your bunker. Wow. Arc welder from 12 years ago still works. That's pretty cool. I'm not a monkey, Billy Bird. I don't perform tricks for thumbs up. We're not there yet. Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh, so James, I owe you a link. Now, keep in mind, James, I'm keeping the company that I work for under wraps, so you can't be sharing it around with people. Otherwise, I will disown you forever. But based on your previous line of work, I suspect you might be a trustworthy individual. Holy good God, they got a lot. Okay, there are a shit ton of jobs, and so here you go, Mister. Okay, I gotta close this window. Oh, I got too many windows open right now. There we go. There, that's over 100 jobs currently that they are currently seeking people for in the location in their place here. So that ought to keep you busy for a while. Would you do it for a Scooby snack? What are the topics today? How to make money, how to get a job, uh, how to leverage your efforts. Always a good topic. How to help out the community. You know, I'm glad that you're not shy about sharing that you're looking for work, James, because it's not always the most fun to talk about how you're looking for work. But until you ask for help, you never know what you're going to get, you know? So I'm really glad that you're willing to like open up about this stuff because, like I said, You mentioned that you're looking for work. I happen to know that at least one company in LA is hiring like crazy. I send you the link, and all of a sudden, we've just kind of helped connect the dots, you know? So that's why Scouts on. Were you an Eagle Scout, James? I know that's like a loaded question because if you were a scout but you didn't make it to Eagle, you're going to hate that question because most scouts who don't make it to Eagle spend the rest of their life like maybe wishing they had gotten Eagle, but it's not like it's that big of a deal. In fact, I was just joking with someone the other day that I'm part of an I graduated, you know, with the top rank from an organization that will never exist in the same way that it did before. And I got nothing against girls wanting to do scouting stuff, but it's not the Boy Scouts if girls are in it, and it's not the Girl Scouts if boys are in it. Just my 2 cents on that malarkey. I mean, what a great idea. Let's send a bunch of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds and all go sleep out in tents overnight. Does anybody want their kids sleeping with other kids from the opposite sex on campouts? Not this guy. I don't even have kids, and that shit gives me the heebie-jeebies. You know, I understand that, you know, they got to grow up at some point, but I'd rather, you know, I don't know. It just seems like pushing your luck. There's a reason high schools have not had co-ed sleepovers like ever. Okay? If co-ed sleepovers were such a good idea, everybody would be doing it, except everyone's not doing it. So I don't know. Yeah, I really do feel that, Billy Bird. I really do feel like there are people trying to dismantle American values, and it's screwed up. It really screwed up. See, because what's more important than this? America, bitches. America, specifically California. That's a bear. In case you couldn't figure it out, that's a grizzly bear. Notice the hump. The hump is indicative of the grizzly bear. This is the most Californian American shirt you could ever possibly find, and I wear it so much. In fact, this one's newer. It says California on the bottom. I'm not going to lift it up anymore because I need to keep this PG rated. But anyways, yeah, my kids are never going to be part of Scouts BSA. I hate to even say that name. I hate to say that stupid ass name, Scouts BSA. Scouts BS, if you ask me. I mean, I wouldn't mind going on a camping trip and having like, let's say I was good friends with someone and they had a daughter who was 14 and my son was 15. Yeah, go on a camping trip. They're not sleeping in the same tent. Okay. I would even feel a little sketchy about them going on a walk together, you know? I don't know, but you know, all in due time. Kids are going to grow up and they got to learn about the birds and the bees at some point, but after they're 18, they can kiss and whatever, hang out at the movies or whatnot, but I don't want them getting too crazy before they're 18. Just not. Kids are stupid. Kids are stupid, and they're gonna get themselves pregnant and ruin their life. Not to say kids ruin their life, but having a kid when you're 18 can ruin your life or alter your life forever. So I would prefer my kids do not have kids when they're 18 years old. Although it would be easier to be a younger grandparent, but see ya, Joran. Good luck with your Swedish life. Anyways, yeah, just why did they have to ruin the Boy Scouts? I really don't know. Ironically, I've sort of heard that some of the reasons that girls want to join the Boy Scouts because the Girl Scouts suck. Because they never do anything fun, and that everything the Girl Scouts do has to be like approved by upper management. I had this guy that bought the pontoons for my windsurf ran from me was explaining that like Girl Scout trips have to be at Girl Scout camp, like they can only camp at Girl Scout camps, and if they don't camp at Girl Scout camps, they got all this approval to camp at a non-Girl Scout camp, and it's just like Jesus Christ. Boy Scouts, we can camp wherever the hell we wanted as long as our scoutmasters are cool with it. In fact, one of the guys who I recently unsubbed to because he had some bigoted views about human beings that I didn't appreciate, was talking about scouts, like some scout troops letting women on the scout trip. And I don't really have a problem with women being involved in scouting, Boy Scouts per se. But I do think that part of the scouting experience is to be around all guys, just like part of the Girl Scout experience is to be around all girls. You know, if you have a Girl Scout event with all fathers or a Boy Scout event with all mothers, really not exactly this like in the spirit of what they're trying to go for. You know, there's very few things in life where it's about only boys or only girls, right? Any sports team, any extracurricular activity aside from scouting, you're going to have men and women in charge of running it. Nothing wrong with that. You know, a guy isn't going to teach swimming better than a girl or volleyball or any other sport or stuff like that. But can we just have like one thing for girls to do and girls and women can hang out together and boys and men can hang out together? Like, I really don't see why we have to destroy that. You know, I really don't. And that's my rant on Boy Scouts. The organization that doesn't even exist anymore. How sad. Cut your hair around your finger while what are you talking about? Curl? Don't be making weird comments like that. My hair is not even that long, Billy Bird. Don't objectify me. I'm not an object. I'm a human being. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with hanging out with guys and hanging out with girls. You know, anyone, what's up, Landrun? Haven't seen you around super recently. There's nothing wrong with, co-ed stuff, but, nobody is stopping guys and girls from going on camping trips. I don't know why they needed to ruin the Boy Scouts just because they wanted it to be official. Land Run 89. Let's stalk Land Run real quick. Wow, that's a good looking salmon, maybe? On your profile picture? Wonder if it's a coho or a chinook. Cohos are bigger, right? King salmon. Spoonbill. Never caught one of those. Of course, you could name 1,000 fishes, and I haven't caught any of them. I like that you made a video 3 days ago that says one of my favorite guns, and you have an American flag in the background, which I might say, okay, let's hold on here. I was just hearing some people talk about this at work. You got to fix your flag, brother. Those stars should be on the upper left, not on the upper right. I want to see that fixed. Shame. For shame. You can't, yeah, you gotta hang your flag the other way. You gotta flip it like that. Because when it's hung vertically, the stars go on the upper left-hand side. But I don't mean to pick on you, but it's the American flag. It's important. I'm even going to comment just to be a jerk. I'll give you a thumbs up too, though, so that you can get to 30. Because it's all about the thumbs up, right? Don't stop making videos about guns, brother. Don't ever stop. And if YouTube kills your channel, make a new goddamn channel and keep making videos about guns. Ooh, you have a lot of videos about guns and scopes and related. I like your channel already. Woo! Look at that big old fat freaking 100-round double belt clip. Jesus Christ, you must live in a good state. Where do you live? Florida, Arkansas, Kansas, Arizona? I'm sure I could figure it out if I watched your channel enough. 4x4 action. Hunting with night vision. Now I want to say Texas because not all states are cool with the night hunting. Oklahoma. Okay. Cool. Very cool. I'm sure if I showed up at Land Run's door, he would take me hunting and we would have a goddamn blast of a time. No, not to, who knows? I'm a stranger, but based on his YouTube channel, he has a lot of good fun out hunting. In fact, I'm looking to get my hunting license in a month, which reminds me I need to kind of start getting my shit ready for that. I got my shotgun, I got my 22, got my 9mm. I will probably not have a rifle built by then, but I am working on it. I really shouldn't talk about that too much, but it's going to be above board, only above board stuff here at LA Prepper Channel. Damn, all this night vision gear. That's pretty boss. Pretty exciting. All right, what is the new toy? Night vision? Ooh, camera mount for the night vision. Very, very cool. Maybe you should do a video on skinning hogs. I know a lot of people have done it, but I could use a little more help. You only have to take one course, James. I mean, I took the hunter's course back in January, so now all I have to do is pay for the license. I don't think getting deer permits is that hard. Hog permits, you can get as many as you want. They're like $22. Um, but anyways, not too worried. I'm more worried about how to find pigs, not the permit for a pig, and how to skin it and package it all up and take it home and make sure it's refrigerated and doesn't taste like the worst thing in the world. There's a lot of shit to hunting. There's a lot to hunting, and I know nothing about it. And it's kind of aggravating sometimes, but no time like the present. No time like the present. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up in a couple minutes here. As much fun as I've been having talking about guns and hunting and finding jobs and such, but I should do something semi-productive with my day, even if I feel like, I mean, I don't feel like, excuse me, I don't feel like sitting around, but I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I was thinking about it. I have to admit, Billy, I was thinking about it. Maybe I'll give you one or two before I go. But I've heard that, James. Very interesting you mentioned that. I have heard that. Maybe I'll go for a stroll today. Maybe I will in fact I'm gonna look up all the words that rhyme with it right now. Maybe I will stroll while carrying a bowl, while looking for a foal. That's my goal. I won't look in a hole because I would find a mole. Maybe I'll do a poll, or maybe I'll just roll. But on the whole, I'm glad I don't have to pay a toll for browsing the atoll for lots of charcoal. I haven't seen the movie Deadpool. I don't have any glycol. Glycol? Hey, that doesn't rhyme. I recently dug a post hole, and I don't own a punch bowl. I can't speak Creole, and I've never been to the South Pole. I kind of enjoy spring rolls, and I've never fished with a tadpole. Oh, God. What a great website. That's a hilarious website. Yes, Stroll was very close. Very, very close. Billy Bird is incessant, like a mockingbird, just tweeting constantly. Oh, that's gonna be my new thing. I'm just gonna find a word that rhymes and just speak terrible spoken poetry. In fact, if I LA is so crazy. If I wrote a stupid poem that rhymed like that and just like got in front of a crowd and repeated it, people might think it was artistic just because they're so screwed up in the head. They just might. Well, I guess I better work on the boat today since I don't. It's either work on the boat, I don't feel like washing my car, I don't feel like changing my oil because my goddamn oil filter points like this, and I have not figured out. Oh, it reminds me, I gotta get a mirror at Harbor Freight. I need to get one of those inspection mirrors. But I have not figured out how to change my oil without making a goddamn mess all over the place, which is a constant aggravation to me. Mr. Die Bullfrog! Alright, maybe I'll hang around for a couple more minutes. I gotta get some water though, I'm dying. Yeah, you know, I could, regarding your comment about, okay, hold on. Losing your soul, lol. Lol rhymes with stroll. You could paint it on an electrical box. That crap is all over the place here. Okay, I'm really confused about that comment. What could I paint on an electrical box? Anyways, are you going to do a video while you're working on the boat? Are you going to do a video while working on your boat? Work on your, oh, my artistic expression, yeah. I want to see you get that outboard running, James. Go fishing. Go hunt for some little fishies. I mean, I guess you do a lot of hunting in general, so that's cool. But by the way, can you make decent pork jerky with wild boar? Or do you just like take the loin and make sausage out of the rest? Shit, I gotta find if I am gonna make sausage, I gotta find a butcher who's willing to make sausage out of wild meat because a lot of butchers don't want to touch wild meat. I'm really not. If I went hunting tomorrow and killed a pig, I'm not remotely ready to deal with it or process it. Or that's why I'm kind of trying to start with like rabbits and squirrels and slightly smaller game. Only problem is I don't have a goddamn dehydrator, so I guess I could try the oven, but it takes a long time in the oven. God, I gotta find somebody who's been hunting. I gotta go boar hunting with somebody else who's been boar hunting before. there's only one hunting club, and they meet during. I'm going to start working the night shift. They meet when I work, so yeah, I could. The only problem is I don't have good sun. I only have sun on my front porch a few hours a day. So unless I put it on the roof, which is a little bit of a pain to make, um, I really don't have anywhere decent to put a solar dehydrator to get sun all day. But yeah, working on my boat. Maybe I'll make a video. I don't have a ton of exciting work to do, to be honest. It'd be easier for me to just do the work and do an update after I'm done with all the work because honestly, it takes me so much dicking around between different tools and moving stuff. It would be like a 30-minute video with like 5 minutes of work. That's one of the big hassles of working on my boat is that I'm so limited on space that it's just a hassle. It's a hassle for so many reasons. It really kills me. That's why I just want to finish it, test it out, and sell the goddamn thing. I just it pains me too much to have it take up so much space and be such a hassle to go to the ocean with it. I really need to find a lake where I can take it to, but all the lakes around here kind of want to charge you like 15 or 20 bucks just to launch your boat. But maybe that's not a terrible idea. I wouldn't have salt water on my stuff. I might have better beach access. Oh, yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll kill a hog and I'll eat it and I'll find out that I don't really like it that much and I'll never kill another hog again. But until then, it's on the bucket list. I hear venison tastes better. Not that I would know. Hmm. Yeah, it's true. California's terrible for lakes. We have so few lakes that they're all just really inundated with yahoos and wakeboarding boats and jet skis. Honestly, Cabrillo Beach is a gorgeous place to launch. I thought about going windsurfing, but it's just not going to be that windy tomorrow. And if it's not like 11, 12, 13, in fact, let me check my other wind forecast. Because Google wind forecast kind of sucks. In fact, it really, really sucks. Yeah, it's just not going to be, I mean, 10 knots. It's got to be like really like 13, 14, 15 knots with the small sail that I have. If I had a big 10-meter windsurfing sail, maybe I could, but yeah. The other thing I thought about was trying to make my windsurf Moran a land surf Moran and putting some wheels on it and just using it on land, but that's a whole nother goddamn nightmare in and of itself. Yeah. Mammoth is just a little far away from me. Just a little bit. What's the nearest lake to me? There is actually a few recreational lakes around here. I think I wonder if San Gabriel Reservoir. I can't remember. I don't think you're allowed to go sailing on that reservoir. Let's see. What else do we have? Yeah, LA. Honestly, LA, if you want to go to the forest, it's not a terrible place to hang out, but all right, let's try Castaic Lake. Well, they have a website. a good start. They have boat rentals. Okay. Now, where are their fees? Hours and fees. $11 daily. Boat launch fees, $13 a day, motorized. What about non-motorized? $7 a day. Really? Hmm. That's actually pretty reasonable. I might need to check out Castaic Lake one of these days. I'll have to remember that. I will have to remember that. See you, Land Run. Take care. Shaver? Is that a lake? Shaver Lake? Is. And there are boats in this lake. Oh, interesting. Shaver Lake is. Shaver Lake's up by Fresno. How are you gonna. Uncle Al, that's hours and hours away. Are you kidding me? Salton Sea is nice, never. You're funny. Pyramid Lake. How far away is Pyramid Lake? Pyramid Lake is just up the street from Castaic Lake. Okay. Interesting. What's up, Acer? Sneaking in, my little stealthy friend. You don't have to be sorry to bail, Underground. Thanks for coming by. My boat is 12 feet long. And if you have not checked it out, here's there's the link. Silverwood Lake. Where is Silverwood Lake? Oh, not quite a million miles away. You guys have really been improving my mood talking about all these lakes that are actually not a gazillion miles away. I really appreciate that. See what I mean, YouTube, about leveraging your efforts? Granted, I could just do a Google map search for this, but it is kind of nice just to have people drop you a hint once in a while. Okay, so like hour and a half, give or take. Okay, so there's Silverwood. Then what was the other one again? Not Castaic, Pyramid. Well, I might just need to add some of these lakes to my bucket list for this summer. Inspired John, what's going on? I was about to check off, but yeah, I might hang around for a couple more minutes. I'm getting a little restless. I've been sitting down for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, so that's kind of my limit of how long I can sit down and stare at the screen before I start going crazy. Success Lake. I don't even know where Success Lake is, and I have no idea where Port whatever is. Lake Success. Okay. Die Bullfrog, you gotta give me lakes that are within like 2 hours of me. I'm not driving 3 hours up there. Although it is close to your neck of the woods. Keep in mind, when I'm traveling with this windsurf Moran, I'm gonna have a windsurfing board and 2 surfboards on top of my car. It's gonna be completely ridiculous. So I'm really not trying to drive faster than like 55 miles an hour. Well, I could stand, but that would, let's just say my camera doesn't point that high. Oh, what's going on, Bubbles? Haven't seen you around in a while. Kid stuff. Yeah, well, kids, you should do kid stuff this weekend. You should go play in the garden and go do fun stuff. Stretch out on the bed. Headphones don't quite reach that long. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be working on some very, I should. When I started the Windsurf Brand project, I was super excited about it. I was like, this is gonna be great. And then after the maiden voyage, I kind of got a little downtrodden, and I don't know. I mean, my neighbor right next to me is gone, so that's like better for making noise. I don't have a lot of super loud, obnoxious things to work on today, but there's just so many problems. There's so many little issues that I have to take care of with this boat. It just drives me crazy. Part of me just wants to like try to finish it and launch, just be done. He is working on the planting. Good. Got to get that. You think of him as a kid. I think of him as labor, free labor. Like I said, pay him with macaroni. And if they don't like that, try goldfish. And if they don't like that, try lifesavers and Cheerios. Be surprised what a 4-year-old would do for some Cheerios. They think it's an income. They don't know. 3 and 4-year-olds don't know about minimum wage laws. You got to use it to your advantage. 2 happiest days of owning a boat. Yeah, I believe it. People say that, but like growing up, my uncle had a boat, and every once in a while, I got to go, hang out with them. And I would be one of those like 1% of people that would love owning a boat every single goddamn day. But I do understand like the whole kind of halo effect with the motorcycle thing, because when I don't have a motorcycle, I want one more than anything on earth. And when I do have a motorcycle, I'm like a nervous wreck about it breaking down and costing me hundreds of dollars and becoming worthless. So it's like I do kind of understand the halo effect a little bit. Nevertheless, I will own a real honest to goodness boat one of these days. We sailed and I loved it, and I love it. Sailed like once. Sailing is great fun. Yeah, it does depends on how much time you have, how much energy you have, how reliable your boat is. Like if you live really near the water or on the water and you just want to go play on the weekend, boats can be great. But if you're like a couple hours away, oh, a sailboat, very cool. My dad used to have a sailboat. We used to have a Buccaneer, 22 foot. And we would go out in the bay. The only thing I didn't like about it is it didn't have a keel. It was a centerboard, so it always would like list a lot. But yeah, sailboats are fun. Sailboats are fun. What's up, RG? All right, yeah, I think we're gonna sign off pretty soon here, but I'll shoot. Maybe I'll shoot a video of the bug out boat today. Maybe it'll motivate me to make more progress on it. Oh, well, very well. Thank you, Inspired. It was terrible, terrible time in my life. I gotta be honest, it was a goddamn nightmare, but or gosh darn nightmare. But yeah, a lot of work. I had a numerical analysis project. I had a paper that I not only had to write, I had to put in LaTeX. I don't know if you ever heard of LaTeX, but it's a damn nightmare to get the paper into. So I had the numerical analysis project, which was 2 projects. It was like part 1, part 2. Then I had the literature review, which was a 28-page paper double spaced on vortices and vortex analysis. Then I had to put that paper in LaTeX, which is like coding the whole darn thing. Imagine writing like HTML for your whole paper. So I had to do that. And then had a final on top of that with 4 questions that I spent a bunch of hours on. So, yeah, lots of work. I've actually, speaking of sailboats, I've actually considered multiple times buying a sailboat to live on it down by the water, because you can get dock slip fees for around like $400 to $600 a month. So a sailboat's like a few $1,000s for an old 1985, 1990 sailboat. And as long as it has like a motor that runs, or even if I need to buy an outboard for a few $100, I'd be all about owning a sailboat. It doesn't have to be brand new and shiny. As long as it doesn't leak and it works, cleaning the hull is a little bit of a hassle. Of course, anything you buy on a sailboat is the most darn expensive thing on the planet. You buy a pulley from Home Depot, a normal pulley, it's like $10. You buy a pulley for a sailboat, it's like $40. Everything on a sailboat is like 3 or 4 times more expensive. It's just absolutely ridiculous. See you later, Uncle Al. Thanks for coming by. But I really would think about living on a sailboat. I think it'd be super fun. Maybe not super fun, but I would actually sail on it. I wouldn't just like park it there. I would go sailing at least a couple times a month, I think. Yeah, saltwater's a bit of a hassle. But cheaper than rent. Cheaper than rent. In fact, if there's a meetup around here that goes sailing every once in a while, maybe I should check them out one of these weekends, especially before I start working on Saturdays, which will be coming in the probably near future. Much joy to that, but it's all right. Now's the time to make money. I've been dicking around for the last few years, not really doing anything useful with my life other than going to school. So now is the time to be making some serious money and to buy a house. That is the plan. I can't keep paying rent, that's for damn sure. Cannot keep doing this rent thing forever. Yeah. No, normal swimsuit is more than fine. Inspired. Thank you so much for taking it there. Yeah, make an inappropriate comment and then leave. How appropriate. I swear. Yeah, I mean, sailboats are a lot of money. The one we had, we trailered, so it didn't get. We trailered and we don't. I think we took it in the bay a few times, but basically kept it in freshwater. And it never really cost us a lot of money. I don't think, actually, I really don't think we put a lot of money into that boat. We never bought any sails for it. I think we already had an outboard for it. We never had to buy it. In fact, it was probably the most affordable sailboat, you know, we'll ever have owned. Fun little boat. But yeah, I was not such a fan of the centerboard deal. All right, 1 minute warning. You have 1 minute to yeah, true. And I don't have anywhere to park a boat right here, so not super convenient. That was the whole idea of the windsurf Moran. I could just put it in the car, keep it in my apartment, keep it out of the water. Theoretically low maintenance. A lot of setup and a lot of takedown, but low maintenance. I'm sure you could, but don't try too hard. All right. Well, thanks for coming by, y'all. I know it's been kind of a nonsensical live stream chat, but that is my specialty. I may or may not do a video on the bug out boat, depending on how I feel about it, depending on if I make any progress on it. But anyways, until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and keep prepping.